What did he
All right,
send you a picture of?
dude. Don't. Ronnie just sent me a picture of his chart, dude. Don't ask me about that shit. I swear to God. We have to speak on some Dance Gavin stuff and be done with this. Honestly, you ready for this, Brian?
Yeah.
All right. It has been an awful, shitty week for Dance Gavin Dance and the fans and everyone affected by the band. This week, they removed Tilian Pearson, frontman, singer of the band, over the multiple allegations of sexual assault. They've taken it pretty seriously. They posted this statement. The recent allegations against Tilian are something we take very seriously, and we have been in deep discussion regarding the appropriate action. Effective immediately, Tilian will be stepping away from the band in order to seek professional help. I want to speak on that in just a minute. John, Will, Matt, and Andrew will continue on with all currently scheduled tours. The band will also be proceeding with the release of Jackpot Juicer as planned. We all worked incredibly hard on this album, and it is also the last recorded body of work from Tim. We want to be sure to give it the full release attention that it deserves to honor his legacy. I want to speak on that as well. We know that this is a very upsetting and trying situation for all those affected, and we ask people to please be as understanding as possible while everyone works through this. We appreciate you always. Love, Matt, Will, John, and Andrew. That last part, we know that this is an upsetting and trying situation. We ask that you please be as understanding. I don't know about being understanding to the band and what's being alleged and what we discussed in the previous video. But as far as like the fan base goes, I mean, I've heard the word toxic being thrown around all week. I think there should be more understanding in that community of Dance Gavin Dance fans, especially since this originated on Reddit and even Tilian's statements went to Reddit. That there should be some understanding or some real sense of community, and that there didn't seem to be that. I saw this issue divide them as if the Dance Gavin Dance fan base was divided on political issues. I mean, dude, it was bad, and I think our video contributed to both sides of that. I think a lot of things that I said, people are upset about. I think a lot of things were exaggerated, and people like to take things out of context because that's how Twitter exists. But it was just, it's a really bad time for their community, and I think people need to be a little more understanding on the victims. I mean, like the girl outed herself on the internet, Michaela, and just got attacked. People brought up shit in her past. It's ugly. It was bad, bad. I feel awful for her. I feel terrible for all these fans that feel like their favorite band is shitty people, because we've talked about bands that are abusive and people that do shitty things like that in this scene specifically, because we don't want those waters tainted. Like we want this thing to stick around forever. It was a really fun thing for us. It should be around for everyone. And bands like this fuck it up. And that's why we always kind of out attack and expose that type of behavior. I think that got misconstrued with me being real emotional in the last video, being pissed off. I'm still pissed off. I'm still really angry about this, but this hits close to home. Okay, it's like okay, there's wildfires everywhere, but this one hit. This one was in your town, because Dance Gavin Dance is a band like Brian. You were there. This is what got us into this shit. Okay, that like sparked a fandom where I saw the band like 15 times and was able to tour with them, and my perception and my whole life really changed with all that. And the perspective I bring to the show has got me in a lot of trouble with the fans. There's a lot of people that are mad that I brought up things that went down with Tim or how John got arrested, and I stand by all of that. Okay, like I told the truth. I'd rather go down for what I said and then be a liar, But I definitely ruffled a lot of feathers, so that's fucking me up. Um, Situation is bad. They removed Tilian from the band, and the next step I see is Rock Sound. Dance Gavin Dance are on the cover of the new Rock Sound magazine. Subscriber copies mailed last week. Okay, so there's never a good time for a sexual assault allegation. But the timing in all of this is ruining the band right now. Okay, subscriber copies mailed last week. Following the rest of the band's statements over the weekend and the current remaining members, Matt, Will, John, and Andrew, intention to carry on with their album release. If you want to pick it up, you can do so at this address. Insert the magazine, inside the magazine, the band, blah, 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 whatever. Out of respect to everyone involved with the events of the last few days, we will not be promoting this issue further. And that's it. I went back to get that screenshot, and that's buried under a bunch of stuff that Rock Sound's currently promoting. So it's like, do you think Rock Sound's going to give them another look? Do you think other publications are going to take notice of that or like not fuck with them over that? Because it's kind of bad. This is why I hate the scene. I've been so depressed. Okay, I've been seeing a lot of that. Like, the fan base is absolutely crushed by this. And
his comment wasn't.
what?
I don't think his comment was depressed because of the Dance Gavin Dance thing, unfortunately. But
What did he say?
I mean, it's in the comments. But the, I mean, you're right on a lot of the points you hit. Expanding further on that, they've now been removed from what was probably their biggest tour to date, which was going to be following the release of the album, and I believe happening during the album. But yeah, they've been removed from the Coheed Cambria tour, and that was playing like a little that was playing arenas. That wasn't like a normal venue show for amphitheater. Yeah, for Dance Gavin Dance.
It was a big deal. It was going to be, yeah, that's a big time money for that band. That's a step upwards. And I mean, what is this, 10th, 11th album? I mean, it's a big deal. Coheed posted this today. It was, I mean, shit, this wasn't even that long ago they posted this. After much internal conversation and consideration, we have decided to replace Dance Gavin Dance on the A Window of the Waking Mind tour. We wish them healing and strength. We will be announcing a replacement in the coming days as we prepare for the release of Vaxxas 2 and subsequent summer tour. Replacing the band on their biggest tour. Wow. I mean, did we see this coming? I don't think I saw this coming. I really thought that they were going to like skate. That they were going to try to just skate on this, and I didn't know what would happen. But it shows that Coheed vets who they're fucking touring with, which I've seen other bands don't give a shit in some cases, so that's good to see. And they also care enough that they say, hey, let's nip this in the bud. Like, we cannot tour with them or be associated with that right now. And so I respect that. On the same note, like you've seen this, there's a lot of Twitter accounts that are themed after Dance Gavin. There's different podcasts, there's different news pages, there's different shit. A lot of them have been discussing about changing their name, and that is hard as fuck. But there's a few that decided to, and I respect the shit out of them, because like rebranding's difficult. I've had to do it before. Like, that's look at my Twitter. But I like that people are making that move and having some integrity in this case, that they don't want to be affiliated or keep supporting that band. I mean, what have you seen? Have you seen what Twitter has been saying? Because
yeah, man, but listen, that's okay. First of all, it's Twitter. Second of all, the allegations that are being thrown out. So allegedly, and this was a couple of days ago. It's not just as today, but over the last couple of days, tweets.
It was an avalanche or a snowball effect. As soon as Tilian's allegations were, they're the most solid. They got him kicked out the band, and it's like that gave some other people the confidence that they could come out with a story.
Yeah, but listen, and that's where I'm okay with. I'm okay with playing into the fact that we need to be more socially outspoken about these kinds of things and be more. I'm trying to choose my words carefully.
Because you know you're going to get roasted in the YouTube comments, or at least I will.
I mean,
you're the reasonable one.
What I'm trying to do here is
I'm reasonable.
Trying to not have it be like Dance Gavin Dance.
You can't analyze each allegation and story.
You're not. No. But I'm trying to generalize here. Like what's happening is with you and what you're saying right now, and currently what's happening is Dance Gavin Dance is clearly under fire because they have fucked up, and that's very clear. And even as fans of Dance Gavin Dance, we can't ignore the fact that they have fucked up. People that fuck up need to have repercussions and need to suffer the consequences, and that's what's happening right now. Now, that's not to anytime this happens with any type of notable band, celebrity, public figure, you name them, it's happened. Once the gate is open, people are going to come out with accusations, which this is fact. Some may be true, but some are also going to be false. This just happens. This is a natural occurring event. People bullshit. People bullshit and lie to try to get attention and try to get things and try to get over. And Twitter is a cesspool of those things.
On that
So,
note, people need to stop with the bring Kurt back stuff. Let's just put that. Let's just already go ahead. I'll take the fire for that. Let's stop with the bring Kurt back stuff. Like
the band
I
is
don't think Kurt's in the place to come back right now.
That
There's
okay.
like what you just said. When this type of story comes out, more people come out, and sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not. So let's just say that there's stories in my DMs from people that felt comfortable to tell me things about different members, and they could be true and they could not be true. Okay, so I'm not going to speak on who said what because that's insane. But there's accusations being hurled at every member now. Besides what I've attested to in the last video, there's now like talks of Will like having an underage girlfriend and maybe Andrew Wells like having some sort of relation with an underage girl, and now people are saying that they're grooming. And
Here,
I can't put any proof to that because the time that I spent with them, that was never something going on. Like the times that there was like hooking up, it was never someone underage. And really, it wasn't even fans, except in the case of Tilian. But there's a lot of things in their statement that I need to point out that we have a problem with. Okay, Tilian will be stepping away from the band in order to seek professional help. Is he going to rehab for alcoholism, or is he going to some sort of behavioral rehab for maybe being a sex addict? Because
that's where I'm gonna kind of scoot in, and if we're being transparent here, this isn't gonna be like this shouldn't be a roasting or a Fox News, CNN-esque type of thing where they get a talking head on and then they just like throw rebuttals and they don't allow for nuance. So let me just explain the nuance to the situation I was getting to a second ago, and then we can go on to this.
Bring the nuance.
So the nuance with this particular situation is now, yes, Will Swan, John Mess, Andrew Wells, who is beloved among nerds in the DGD community and beyond because of his musical prowess. Those three members specifically now have floating around allegations on Twitter. And I say floating around allegations because the Twitter accusations are coupled with this. Oh, I totally share all the text messages I have from John Mess when he would sext me when I was a minor, but I totally don't have the receipts. They were like 7 years ago or something to that effect. It's something alluding to something happened.
I
and then
saw that on Twitter.
I already don't have the proof to come out, so I'm not going to, but go ahead and keep raising this virtue signaling flag that you're going to and people do this. That's why I wanted to lead with that caveat and just say, hey, these things happen when accusations and allegations come out, and it's real hard to sift through what's factual and what's not. And for that, I think we need to pay attention on what is happening, and that is Tilian has announced that he's going to go get some sort of help. We can continue on that.
We have no idea what.
I don't think it matters, bro. I believe in person. I believe in.
I think it matters if it's true or not, because we have no idea who's holding him up to it. The band, because is he ever going to come back?
Hopefully, but hopefully it's management and responsible people. No, hopefully it's not the band, because the band seems like they can't get their shit straight. Hopefully it's management and
responsible people. That sounds like a good time to point out, because there's other people angry about this. That in all of this, okay, you have a band statement, you have the band getting kicked off a tour, you have a band no longer being promoted by Rock Sound. Where has the label been in any of this? There's been no statement from the label.
I mean, that's what they're gonna do. Execs aren't stupid. They're gonna fucking.
I said the same.
They're the Diglett.
Thing, but
they're the groundhogs.
Okay?
They're in there worried about their fucking shadow. No, it's not okay. That's just it. We don't have accountability in these types of. This can be echoed for government politics. This can be echoed for economic issues. This could be echoed for international relations. This could be echoed for business. This scenario can literally be echoed for any type of facet or aspect of life you want to admire or observe, because it's human beings and accountability. Like, that's the issues here, is people aren't being held accountable for their shit when they should be up front. And that's the whole issue with allegations and like, okay, people are just now becoming comfortable being able to come up with allegations that are happening against pretty notable people because they're afraid of the backlash. I mean, okay, but that doesn't immediately ignore the fact that they need to have some sort of like viable evidence and proof. And these things take time to figure out.
The,
And for people to just start going after the band, by all means, that's going to happen. You have your right to. But at the same time, like, what are we arguing? Oh, the Will Swan comment. Oh, Will Swan kicked me out of the band for his 17-year-old girlfriend he just met back in 2010, when Will Swan could have been 19 years old.
I
I
think
hate that shit because
math can prove that.
you know how old I was. Yeah, probably can. I was 21, 22 in 2019, and I'm pretty sure Will Swan's a couple years older than me. So yeah, he very well could have been 19. He could have been 20 years old dating a 17-year-old. And are we going to get that nuanced where, motherfucker, I was in high school. I was 19 one time when there was come on, like, what are we splitting hairs? They're not out here diddling kids. Now, I'm not excusing that they don't have
Oh
an
my
issue.
god.
They have issues, yes. And Tilian hopefully gets help. I don't care what kind of help it is. His alcoholism probably perpetuates his sexual deviancy. So he probably needs to go to AA, and he probably needs to go to Sex Anonymous, and he could probably talk to a fucking therapist because he's clearly been coddled for the last decade plus and being told that he can do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and there's no goddamn accountability. Should I repeat myself?
No. That's a brilliant word to use, accountability, because that's something that I had to tell someone today. It's like you're upset at like us reporting or speaking on this, but like, do you not, like, the super fans that are defensive or still support them right now? Like, is
They
that
need to
not
get their
what they're
heads out of their
doing?
asses, and they need to just snap into reality. And you know what sucks, Matt, is, for a minute there, we were almost like hurt when this news would come out by some of our artists that we liked and really enjoyed, and now unfortunately it's a part of the business, and that sucks. And maybe we're jaded to that regard because we're susceptible to it on a daily basis with what we do. But it's unfortunate because it's gotten to the point to where now I'm not surprised by who comes out with allegations. There's very few artists and people out there that I'm surprised by, because it's the rock and roll lifestyle and you're going to be a fucking creep when you're in it. And you know
But you
what?
don't
Like,
have to be.
how long before the entire reputation of this style of music gets burned to the fucking ground? How long before nobody shows up to fucking When We Were Young Fest because they realize that it's a bunch of fuckery? You know?
Brian, you're hitting it on the head. How long? Okay? The whole thing that I spoke, the whole reason, the whole point I tried to make in the last video that got me destroyed was that there's a pattern of problematic behavior. The only way that problematic behavior is shown to fans is sadly by Matt having to go to rehab. Okay, so that got publicized, his meltdown. They all saw that. I spoke about Tim's death. People were pissed about that because I said how or why when the news already reported it. But those are like things that are spoken to. I bring up John's cocaine arrest, and no one knows. There's no proof for that. It's my version of the text from 2009 because I don't have receipts. He told me with his fucking mouth. So like that's it. But I point out this problematic behavior, and it's like, well, wasn't this shit avoidable? I mean, in any instance, isn't fucking your fans or abusing someone avoidable because you're obviously fucked in the head to want or end up doing that, okay? But also in the case of like excessive drug use, excessive alcohol use, like we've told the stories on here. We got two videos up speaking to that shit. I don't need to get roasted for any more. But there's problematic behavior and that enabled all of this. It's like if you're an alcoholic and I shouldn't give you the bottle or drink next to you or party with you. But that's exactly what happened. Like we spoke to this. Matt's been an alcoholic for a long time. No one could bring it up or even say it. Tim told me himself. He's like, you can't say that word to him.
I mean,
Like, so there's, I don't
that's
know.
that again goes back to like this nuance of, hey, you're experiencing these things in the moment with them, right? And who's to say that the people that are coming out on Twitter and all these other places haven't really experienced the things that they're saying? But what needs to be noted is as fans and people in the community that are apparently in love with the band and close with the music and the emotions and bring to us, like, let's be real, guys, we all are emotionally invested in this one way or another. That's why we're all here, okay? And we've all been hurt when something like this comes out about our favorite artists or bands, or when maybe they've treated us shitty in person or something to that effect. But let's all be adults and understand that when somebody doesn't do their job properly, like at work, that everybody here, I assume, does. Isn't there accountability? Okay. When something goes wrong in a relationship and somebody wrongs somebody and there's disrespect or there's reason to lose trust or there's insults or there's fighting or there's something that's going on, isn't there normally need to be accountability to mend those issues? Okay. What we're dealing with
How
here.
long do you like, how long is the leash? Like, Bryan, if me or you, with the relationship we've had, we're cool, we're business buddies, we're best friends, we've known each other since high school, bro, we got each other's back. How long a leash until like my life is off the rails before you try to intervene? I
Well,
mean,
that's what I'm
they
saying. And let me
it's not
highlight
just
this.
like being out of control, but it's like they're
Fading B.
also enabling in that behavior.
Yes, and I can understand where my rant gets a
I don't
little.
think the super fans understand that.
And here's
At least if you read my DMs right now, they do not understand that.
exactly, and unfortunately, it's the DMs on
Oh,
Twitter. But to bow this up and fading B, I appreciate you for maybe calling me out and saying it's a little intense, and to speak to that intensity. What I'm upset at is that when something like this happens, everybody feels obligated to immediately start drawing lines on what's okay morally and what's not okay morally. And then they start either victim blaming or accusing themselves or doing these other weird tactics to try to social justice signal that they're on some weird side. And that's, listen, anybody that hears something right out of the gate, and listen, we're probably guilty of it because, and that's why people could be flaming us a little bit, but we've only done one thing, or we've only set out to do one thing when we've done this show, and that's just provide quality content that's accurate and up to date. And we've said that when we were wrong, we've admitted it. Okay. We came out and did a video simply highlighting that, hey, there's a fucking problem and it needs to be tended to before it fucking crumbles beneath everybody. And what happened a couple days later? It fucking crumbled. And don't be surprised when this happens again in a couple months with another fucking band. And the whole point that we're trying to make with these
sadly,
shows,
sadly.
exactly. The whole point we're trying to fucking make is that instead of going in and drawing your line and picking which side you're going to be on, of believer or non-believer or accuser or non-accuser, why don't you fucking sit back and have a little nuance to your approach and then maybe wait for things to play out. And then you can start deciding these opinions you have and how valid they may be when you start putting yourself in the perspective that the people are actually going through. And that's what's frustrating, because I'm more on the fucking most hilarious part of the conversation is who should be the next frontman of the band. I thought that was hilarious because there were fans out there that were completely disregarding Tilian and the
Oh
shit that
yeah,
he was going through. And
they
it's like,
don't.
yo, are
Uh-uh.
you just ignorant? Are you just stupid at this point? Like, you're not even sitting there going, man, Dance Gavin Dance,
They're
as a fan
young.
of the
They
band,
have 11 followers on Twitter, and they're fucking mad
you
at
should
me.
straighten up. Like, as a fan, people's opinions that they hold online, is this what you're going to say to the band when you see them in real life? If you were to ever see John Mess or Tilian walking down the street, you'd actually go up to them and go, hey, man, that wasn't very cool what you did, bro. That really sucked. You're an asshole. I can't believe you're a womanizer. No,
On
you
dude,
fucking wouldn't, bro. You'd go, hey, man, I really like fucking acceptance speech. Yeah, that was
what is
fucking
their
great, bro.
meet and greets gonna be like if they
Yeah,
continue on doing tours the same way? Like if they
y'all innocent
continue
shit.
taking that step, they can't do that anymore. That's
Yeah,
gonna be awkward. That's not gonna work.
yeah, and all you guys that are witnessing that now and experience, hey, guess what? Dance Gavin Dance fucked up a little bit, and it's probably gonna be a minute
A
before they're
little
back on
bit.
top. And you know what? You all spent the fucking last 3, 4, 5 days arguing about who was right in this situation and who was fucking wrong, and you all should just be realizing the fact that you were a supporter of somebody that did something wrong, and if you really cared, you'd probably, support them in a different way, and probably leaving it the fuck alone.
Okay. Question time. Is Coheed justified kicking them off the tour?
Oh, I think so. Don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Certainly.
what?
It's their tour, so they could kick them off if like they didn't like fucking Mountain Dew. Okay, first of all, but they like I said, they showed enough integrity to be like, we don't want to be around that. We don't need that on our tour. We're gonna replace them. And I don't remember when it kicks off. Isn't it fairly soon?
Yeah, the album was coming out during the tour. What is the proper course of action moving forward, Matt? Do they just stop being a band? Is this the end of Dance Gavin Dance realistically? And this isn't coming. I'm not asking Matt
My
personally.
biasm.
Yeah, I'm asking what you really think as a professional in this industry. What is the next possible route where they can even remotely come out of this? Okay.
anytime a band loses a quote unquote prolific frontman, okay, and Tilian had now the most
Maybe the
albums.
most prolific. Yeah.
He had the most albums with that band out of all their quote unquote prolific, legendary, problematic vocalists. Okay, because they've always had tremendous vocal tracks, and he was a big deal for a lot of fans. I know he was, financially well off. I think it's a big fucking hit, dude. Like, I think the band has seen better days. I think the end has been near for a while.
Mm.
After I saw them in 2015, I thought it could end at any moment, and I thought that a scandal, not like this, I thought like a scandal of like some drunken bad behavior would come out, but like, and I'd honestly rather prefer that than there be like another
Oh,
victim or some assault shit
absolutely.
like this. But like,
The Tim thing in hindsight wasn't that bad. Like the
what?
Tim, I mean, he obviously, him and his life, that was a bad thing. Yes. And obviously it's been brewing. But my point is, in retrospect of the different allegations, like, hey, homeboy was just a little drunk, which rock stars get drunk. He can do rehab. We've seen other bigger artists come back from worse alcoholism. He was drunk playing drums. Like, he went through rehab and
Are you talking
his
about
vocals were,
Matt? I'm so
or
confused because
Matt.
you
Yes.
said Tim.
I'm
Jesus
sorry. I meant Matt.
Christ.
I meant Matt. No, no, no. I meant Matt's issue with the
Holy
alcohol thing.
shit,
I
dude. Do you have
apologize.
any?
I'm
Oh
riled
my
up.
god.
I wasn't advocating for Tim's passing. No, 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 no.
Jesus
No, the
Christ.
Matt situation. I apologize. The Matt Mingus situation where he was drunk playing drums. That, in hindsight, isn't nearly this bad. That is something you can bounce back
It's
from.
bad that it got to that point that he had to have a publicly
Absolutely true.
bad performance
Yeah,
when they had all witnessed and known about it. I mean, it was
that's true.
known behavior within that band. And again, no there's never been any sort of like intervention from a label or management. I'm telling you, they're just there to get the check. They're just there to do a job. Like, the money clears, that's it. Like, the only time I've seen those people intervene was like Johnny's MacBook scandal. They personally paid back victims so no one got
Yeah,
sued. And
yeah,
he had to do like another album just to pay back the label and management for doing that shit.
yeah,
But like
yeah.
all this stuff,
And you got
it,
DBTM2 or whatever it was, Downtown Battle Mountain 2, right?
the
That's
other
how
part
the
of this statement that I had a problem with, okay, we all worked incredibly hard on this album, and it is also the last recorded body of work from Tim. We all knew that. That was one of the first things I saw the fans jump to. Okay, we know that. We want to be sure to give it the full release attention that it deserves to honor his legacy. I feel like that's pandering. I feel like they are tugging at the heartstrings because they are in a really bad spot.
they
And I
had to say
understand that
something
it
about
is
it.
Tim's last work and I want to hear what he did. But I still think
To
that
me,
that
that's a
that
tomato
plays
tomato
out
thing.
bad. You should keep Tim's name out of the mud. And this is your statement to get out of the mud. And it just feels ugly to me. And
See, I feel
whenever I saw Tillian bring up Tim's death as a reason for him to be drinking more, it's like, okay, I can understand, but it's like you're really leaning on this, man, and it doesn't feel right anytime they say it. You know,
see
it feels ugly every
their,
time it's brought up. It
their
feels
statement
like an
came out.
excuse.
Their statement came out like a day or two after the initial allegations, before people started raking Will and John and Andrew over the coals. And so their plea to Tim, or the honoring Tim's legacy, you're gonna do that, man. That's communication 101. Like, they're trying to save face. You have to do that. That's a tomato tomato thing. You may call it pandering. To me, that's just saving face, man. You're out here really trying to sit back and go, you know what? We're removing someone from the band, but we still ask our fans, just understand that we're not advocates of that, right? We're saving face means you have a face that you're wearing for the public. We see different things because we're in the industry a little bit, right? But what they're doing to the general public is they're saving face by releasing a statement. Now, these other allegations are what's putting them in the mud. Back to your statement where you think an allegation or something or a scandal was going to happen and derail them sooner. I disagree with that, because I think that them playing the Sacramento Bridge was a huge thing, and that was just in 2020,
It
2021, the end
was
of
it was a
2020.
huge deal,
And
but
that's,
it shocked the hell out of me that they were like getting permission from the city to shut down a bridge
dude,
after like I
how
had
they were
just
about to tour with Coheed. They were about to do the thing. They were on the cusp of hitting this next level, and hey, tinfoil hats on, someone had it out for him or something, man, because all of a sudden it's this fall from grace and we see this too often. But let's not also ignore the fact that this Tim thing is just, that's what sucks about it is, this all comes literally
You
within
lost a
months
band member.
of
Like
losing a band
it's the
member.
most tragic thing. Like you can lose like fuck record sales and what your band's doing at that point. Like you lost a brother in that.
The energy from the fucking like recent shows that they've done too after he's passed has been ridiculous. Like they've been posting videos about it and just they've been going off. So I believe that the energy was behind Dance Gavin Dance more than it's probably ever been. And I think the results of their album dropping and the hype behind it and the other things that have happened over the last couple of years were a result of that. And it just sucks that this is now what we get. And there's clearly something wrong. There's clearly
It
something wrong that
it
needs
feels
attention.
like a lot of it was avoidable, man. Like I feel like if someone if whether it had been someone at the label that really cared or an artist or someone like got them help sooner, like would Tim still be here? Like I keep asking myself this through all this bullshit and like what he would say or what he would think of it. And I'm pretty sure Tim would want Tilian gone if he knew all this shit, dude. Um
Okay, final question for you before we wrap up. Does Tilian come back?
I don't think so. I think the statement they initially posted made it like alluded to him being gone temporarily, but I don't see any way you can bring him back. I don't. I don't see like even if he gets help from whatever establishment, I just can't see how he could come back from all this. Like not only that, like the band's probably gonna be pretty fucking upset that he cost them a lot of this shit.
As in retrospect, how he reacted to Matt being drunk on stage and acting as if
I don't
that was the
see
worst thing on the
Will or
entire planet.
John. I don't see Will or John letting him back in the band after he's cost him like a Coheed tour. I mean that this is their like I said in the last video, this is their jobs and their livelihood. It's just the band. Like they just fuck their whole summer up.
Shout out to regular Xavier Hernandez in here dropping some knowledge. He says that their sound is not defined by their clean vocalists, other more than a combination of Will, Matt, and John's musical input. And hey, secret band, right? That's the band minus a clean singer. Literally, the rest of the band, minus whoever the clean vocalist was at the time, was their secret band project. So maybe we see an iteration of that where maybe they, because these other allegations on Twitter again.
Doesn't the I think the band needs to clean up before they start
Oh,
like
no
returning to
doubt,
music. Like
no
look,
doubt.
we don't know. That's the problem with all this the other stories that came out. We don't know if the Tilian allegations gave other victims a platform and the confidence to speak on it, and we don't know if the Tilian allegations opened a can of worms with people now just trolling or starting shit, and it's bad. I don't wish it on anyone at all. Lot of comments in here based on the allegations, interactions with women, female fans. It's not just alcoholism, and I
Yeah.
don't think that's something that can be rehabbed.
I
I've
mean,
said the
we
same thing, my man.
briefly touched on the complex B
Secret Band's the best
personality
thing the
type.
Bears ever did. Who did they get replaced by? I have tickets. It's not announced yet.
Not announced yet. Um,
They would lose so many fans if Tillian comes back. Downtown Battle Mountain 3 win.
oh
Wow.
God. Hey, I mean,
No.
at this point, if you're gonna go down swinging. And honestly, I mean, how many of you in this very room, all 65 of you, in a year and a half, 2 years, maybe when they do return, are you gonna have a little bit of forgiveness in your heart? Because even I've listened to a couple Azalea Dying songs, and I swore that band off. I did not listen to Tim Lebessi or Azalea Dying for a solid 10 years
I mean,
because
actions speak a lot louder
I
than
thought that
words,
shit
so
was madness. But then their most recent album came out, and I was like, you know what, this kind of bops.
let's see how they act and how things go the next couple months. Like they really need to get cleaned up. The whole band just needs to get scrubbed over and cleaned up, man.
And I would
Because
really
I
love
don't know I don't know what's true with them anymore.
the whole reason we also try to be a little bit, well, not a little bit, but as
Do
transparent
not
as
do
we can
not
here.
bring stop the Bring Kurt Back
Yeah,
campaign. Stop that
yeah.
too.
And if your guys are wondering why we're saying that, just pay attention to what's going on in the Twitterverse right now, and just wait.
Just it's
With
don't don't start campaigning for him.
the reasons that we are getting riled up about this, guys, is because me and Matt have been in this long enough to where we really do put like our support in what we believe in, and that's why when
We
we
give a
come out,
shit. We
hey, we
care.
get upset
I wouldn't be
when our
here hating
favorite
the
bands go
scene.
through this. Like, you know, I was, and hey, Matt and me differed on Dance Gavin Dance for quite some time because of personal experiences, and I'll be the first to sit here and say, hey, this is unexcusable. And as fans, we should probably pay attention to how we're supporting people and things because that largely reflects
Be
how we
careful
really feel about
who
things.
and how you idolize people. Like
Yes.
merch is always nice, but come on, don't put these people on a pedestal. Like don't let it cloud your judgment of like who they are or what they're capable of. I mean, it sucks. Okay, so we got a bunch of all right.
Hey, oh y'all, throw these real quick before we get out of here. We gotta throw the social medias up. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know where to find us. If you like these fucking hot takes and these
Every Friday night,
hot breath up in your
every
mouth.
Friday night with much cheery and happier news than allegations and abuse. Try to bring you new music every Friday night, new bands, new artists, every genre, metal, post-hardcore, hip-hop, EDM. I mean, we really just try to get everyone. So that's what it's about. It's a scene. It's
Rate,
Pride Month.
review, subscribe, do it all. Yeah, we got a couple different Pride logos we're working on. Hey, I got to get a shameless plug. I have a brand new episode of my podcast up. So if you guys want to listen to it, The
Oh
Common
no,
Chaos,
don't do it.
commonchaos.net. If you like my hot
Don't
takes,
fucking do it.
just dropped today, episode 95.
That's awful.
This Friday, who do we got, Matt? Have we announced it yet, or are we keeping it a secret?
Friday, Belushi Speedball, Kentucky
Belushi
Grindcore Band.
Speedball,
Yep,
Kentucky Grindcore Band. And for
Kentucky
all the yous
Grindcore Band. It's gonna be
that don't
fun. You
know,
want new music? I got you new music.
Jim Belushi, R.I.P. baby.
All right. Hope DGD Twitterverse can heal. Hug someone, love someone, and just support the right people.